the trial against a man accused of pledging allegiance to the Islamic State group and plotting to attack one of superstar singer Taylor Swift's concerts in Vienna nearly 2 years ago, has begun in Austria. The plot was thwarted, but Austrian authorities still cancelled Swift's 3 performances in August 2024. The singer's fans, known as Swifties, who had flown to Austria from across the globe to attend a performance of her record-setting Eras tour, were devastated, but rallied to turn Vienna into a citywide trading post for friendship bracelets and sing-alongs. A gunman opened fire at a social security office and at a courthouse in central Athens on Tuesday, wounding several people, Greek authorities said. A police operation was underway to locate the gunman, who Greek media reported was an 89-year-old man. Police said a suspect armed with a shotgun initially opened fire at a social security office in the center of the Greek capital, wounding an employee. Police officers who arrived at the scene treated the man, but the gunman fled the scene.
And Tehran, Iran. Much has changed for Iranian authorities and more than 90 million people in the country since the United States and Israel launched the first strikes on Tehran 2 months ago. Yet some elements of how Iran works and who controls key decisions have only become more entrenched. And New York City will hold a series of free events for football fans who hope to experience the excitement of the World Cup but cannot afford the hefty ticket prices to the matches. Mayor Zoran Mamdani said in an announcement. Mamdani, a noted football devotee, announced the free events alongside New York Governor Kathy Hochul on Monday.
Luka Modric has undergone a successful surgery after fracturing his left cheekbone and is expected to be fit for the upcoming FIFA World Cup. The Croatian Football Federation said the AC Milan midfielder sustained the injury following a clash of heads with Juventus midfielder Manuel Locatelli during Sunday's 0-0 Serie A draw at the San Siro and underwent surgery on Monday, weeks before the 40-year-old is due to participate in his 5th World Cup. An important Islamic seminary in Indian-administered Kashmir has been declared unlawful under anti-terror laws, prompting backlash from prominent religious and political leaders in the territory. Kashmir Divisional Commissioner Anshul Garg issued the order based on a police dossier that alleged sustained and covert links between the seminary and the banned political party Jamaat-e-Islami, JI, local media reported. 2 Republican members of Congress are calling on the Trump administration to empower the National Guard to address potential drone-related threats and ensure a unified federal security posture at the upcoming World Cup Games. The letter by U.S. Representatives Michael McCaul and Elijah Crane, who both sit on the House of Representatives Committee on Homeland Security, was sent to U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin, Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche and Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth on Friday.
Vivo has officially introduced the Vivo Y600 Pro in China, bringing one of the largest batteries seen in a mainstream smartphone. The new model succeeds the Y500 Pro and significantly increases battery capacity while maintaining a relatively slim design. This puts the phone on par with the likes of other battery champions, such as the Honor Win, Realme Narzo Power, and a few others.
And a group of Republican lawmakers from US President Donald Trump's party has introduced a bill seeking a 3-year suspension of the H-1B visa program. The proposed law, titled the End H-1B Visa Abuse Act of 2026, was introduced by Congressman Eli Crane and backed by 7 other Republicans. And the Pakistan Airports Authority, PAA, has partially closed the main runway at Skardu Airport due to ongoing maintenance work affecting flight operations for several hours each day in a notice to airmen, NOTAM. The authority said runway 14L 32R will remain unavailable daily from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
power supply improved during peak hours on April 27 as higher hydel generation helped limit load shedding, although shortages persisted due to lack of LNG. According to the power division, the spokesperson said hydropower generation increased to 6,000 megawatts during peak hours after higher water releases from Tarbela Dam. Pakistan's military spending increased by 11% to $11.9 billion in 2025, driven largely by new weapons procurement following last year's war with India, according to the latest global military expenditure report released by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI. The report said the rise was mainly linked to new orders for aircraft and missile systems placed with China during 2025 after the armed confrontation between Pakistan and India in May. Payments for previously signed procurement contracts that are nearing completion also contributed to higher defense expenditure during the year. Islamabad. Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb on Tuesday said Pakistan's economy is projected to grow by 4% in the current fiscal year, citing improving macroeconomic indicators as a sign of recovery. The minister made these remarks while inaugurating the first high-level EU-Pakistan Business Forum in Islamabad, organized by the European Union in collaboration with the government of Pakistan, marking a key step in strengthening bilateral economic ties. Britain's King Charles III will emphasize the long history and democratic values his country shares with the United States in an address to a joint session of Congress on Tuesday, delivered while relations between the two nations are at an unusually low ebb. He will start his speech, which is expected to last around 20 minutes, by expressing solidarity and talk about how the US and United Kingdom stand shoulder to shoulder. He will say that he brings the highest regard and friendship of the British people to the people of the United States, as the nation marks its 250th anniversary of independence, and is expected to reference Saturday's shooting incident at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Sri Lankan authorities said 22 Buddhist monks were arrested for possession of over 110 kilograms of cannabis, illegal in the South Asian nation, at the international airport in the capital Colombo, the largest ever drug bust at the terminal. The largest ever drug bust at the Thailand had suitcases each containing more than 5 kilograms, 11 pounds, of cannabis at the Bandaranaike International Airport, according to the state-owned Daily News. A French teenager is facing up to 2 years in a Singapore prison after he allegedly licked a straw in an orange juice vending machine, then placed it back in the dispenser. Singapore, a small, highly developed and wealthy financial hub in Southeast Asia, is well known for its strict laws.
And a political and media dispute has erupted involving United States President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, and late-night television host Jimmy Kimmel. Melania publicly criticized Kimmel on Monday and urged the TV network ABC to take action against him. The president has gone further, calling for Kimmel to be removed from his role altogether. And Beirut, Lebanon, when Israel and Hezbollah agreed to a ceasefire in November 2024, the popular perception was that the pro-Iranian Lebanese group was a spent force. At the time, an intensification of Israel's war on Lebanon had eliminated much of the group's senior leadership, including longtime Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah, and the Israeli military had invaded the country's south. And Israel has officially agreed to ceasefires in Gaza, Lebanon and Iran. But that has not meant any de-escalation as Israeli forces and settlers press further into Palestinian-administered areas of the occupied West Bank and deeper into civilian space in Gaza and more aggressively into the heart of occupied East Jerusalem. The pattern and documented across multiple fronts this week, including a surge of strikes in Lebanon, despite the announced extension of the ceasefire there, suggests that ceasefires have functioned less as true pauses in hostilities than as cover for accelerated fact-making on the ground. And it was against this backdrop that Palestinians in the West Bank, and for the first time since 2006 in part of Gaza, and went to the polls on Saturday in municipal elections, despite many Palestinians doubting that these votes would be able to bring about change.
FIFA should press the United States government to establish an ice truce for this year's World Cup, including a public guarantee from federal authorities to refrain from immigration enforcement operations at games and venues. Human Rights Watch, HRW, have said 26 World Cup, the first edition of the global showpiece tournament to feature 48 teams, will be co-hosted by the US, Canada and Mexico from June 11 to July 19.
And Karachi Kings captain David Warner has responded firmly to an Indian fan who suggested that he should leave the Pakistan Super League PSL and return to the Indian Premier League IPL for the 2026 season. The comment came after Karachi Kings were eliminated from the PSL 11 playoff race.
The Punjab Bar Council, PBBC, has issued notices to 1,200 lawyers whose academic degrees have not been verified by the Higher Education Commission, HC, directing them to complete verification by May 15 or face suspension of their licences. In a joint statement, PBBC Vice Chairman Khawaja Kaza Butt and Executive Committee Chairman Fakhar Hayat Awan said degrees obtained from several universities, including Shah Abdul Latif Bhittai University, University of Sindh, University of Karachi, Gomal University, Mirpur University of Science and Technology and Mohiuddin Islamic University, remain unverified. Lahore, a special court, Central, on Tuesday granted interim pre-arrest bail to Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's daughter Rabia Imran and her husband Imran Yousaf in a money laundering case. The couple personally appeared before the court along with their counsel. Quetta. 5 labourers were injured in a grenade attack in the Dalbandin area of Chagai district late on Monday night. Police said, according to police officials, unidentified assailants on motorcycles threw a hand grenade at a house, which exploded in the backyard and injured 5 labourers.
I ran into Horia Saeed earlier this month at the Karachi Expo Centre, where she and other student chefs from the College of Tourism and Hotel Management, C8M, had prepared a variety of Saudi Arabian dishes during the Pakistan Travel Mart 2026 exhibition, an annual travel and hospitality showcase. Huria's spread featured a shawarma platter as the appetizer, chicken kabsa, a rice dish, as the main course, and a non-alcoholic champagne as the accompanying beverage. What drew me to it was the orderly, methodical layout, her spread displayed separately from the other students' setups, each dish accompanied by a handwritten recipe card in colourful markers.
Gunmen have killed at least 29 people in an attack on a village in Nigeria's northeastern Adamawa state. Local officials say the Islamic State group IS has claimed responsibility for the attack without specifying its motive.
Anjan. For many in the ballroom at the White House Correspondents' Association dinner on Saturday night, the scene was painfully familiar. Shots fired, confusion and panic, and a sense that the normal order of things had been violently interrupted. Erica Kirk, whose husband, the conservative activist Charlie Kirk, was shot and killed last September, was in tears. Congressman Steve Scalise and Majority Leader in the House of Representatives, who suffered life-threatening injuries in a shooting at a baseball practice with Republican teammates in 2017, was escorted out by security. And a California man has been charged with attempting to assassinate US President Donald Trump after trying to storm a gala event with weapons on Saturday night. Cole Thomas Allen, 31, was also charged with 2 firearms offences when he appeared in court in Washington, D.C. on Monday. He did not enter a plea.
United States President Donald Trump's national security team is reviewing an Iranian peace proposal aimed at halting the war and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The plan comes as Washington weighs its next steps, including delaying talks on Iran's nuclear program. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi met Russian President Vladimir Putin in St. Petersburg, saying Tehran is considering a U.S. request to resume negotiations. The comments signal cautious movement on diplomacy despite ongoing tension.
Ukraine has summoned the Israeli ambassador for what it calls a lack of appropriate response. In accepting shipments of grain from Russian-occupied Ukrainian territories, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha wrote on social media platform X on Monday evening that a shipment of Ukrainian grain had arrived in Haifa, the second such vessel that delivered stolen goods to Israel.